Mr David Shoebridge.
Mr Deputy President, how much does it cost to sack 45 councils, remove local democracy, appoint 19 hand-picked, unelected and unaccountable council administrators to run your agenda? Well, apparently at least $590 million. Mike Baird is costing New South Wales taxpayers and ratepayers nearly $600 million to do a job on local communities and rush through deeply undemocratic process, a process that is now being challenged in the courts by a number of brave councils and councillors who know that their residents and their ratepayers deserve far better than the Mike Baird coalition is delivering. Because while Mike Baird is boasting about the 19 amalgamations that he's forced through, there are 9 forced amalgamations that have not been able to proceed, with Woollahra, Ku-ring-gai, Mossman, Strathfield, Hunters Hill, North Sydney, Lane Cove, Oberon-Cabonne and Shellharbour all in the Land and Environment Court. And the former Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Gundagai Council are also in court on behalf of their recently sacked council. These court cases have exposed just how shambolic and malign the entire process from the Baird government has been. The government has already admitted that it can't proceed with the current delegates' report for the forced amalgamation of Strathfield, Burwood and Canada Bay. They did that in open court. And that's because, as I understand it, the delegate failed to even comprehend what the definition of the word community meant in the Local Government Act. Now, the government are still, of course, in there arguing with the residents about what the effect of their admission means at law. This arrogance by the Baird government to try and cut legal corners has already left one forced amalgamation in obvious legal limbo. And without preempting the outcome of the other cases currently being considered by the courts, now is a good time to summarise the issues that have been raised in those courts by the councils standing up for their ratepayers. Of course, each case has its own individual arguments relating to their individual council. There are specific issues raised about rural councils, individual community and individual delegates, but there are a number of common arguments that show just how deeply dysfunctional and arguably unlawful the process across the state has been. In the course of the litigation, a July 2015 KPMG options analysis report was produced. KPMG, of course, are the consultancy firm that the Baird government hired to conduct financial modelling on council amalgamations. Their reports were quickly stamped cabinet in confidence to ensure that they were never seen by the public, or at least so the government hoped. And with good reason, because it appears from the July 2015 KPMG report that organisation was up to its neck in the coalition's forced amalgamation process before IPART had even completed its Fit for the Future review. We now know that there was no independent review of the KPMG report, as Premier Baird and Minister Toole say, that KPMG came up with the alleged savings in the first place and then effectively marked their own homework. Only after KPMG's mythical savings were signed off on a flawed public inquiry, did a flawed public inquiry process begin. And an almost universal complaint from councils was that they weren't given reasonable notice of the public meeting for the delegates' inquiry. In Woollahra's case, the first public notice of the meeting was given on 20 January 2016, a time when many people aren't paying attention to public affairs. And the public meeting was then rushed through on just the 4th of February 2016. Given the hundreds of pages of reports, the partial and inadequate financial material then available, and the complexity of the issues, nobody could fairly describe that as reasonable notice. Many councils have also argued that the delegates' role in the inquiry was nothing but a charade. They noted that their delegate refused to ask questions, refused to take or answer any questions on any substantive matters. Surely an inquiry, the councils say, requires the person undertaking the inquiry to do more than just sit mutely and receive submissions. Many other councils have said that Baird's hand-picked delegates, when they completed their inquiries and which were then reviewed by the Boundaries Commission, were basically just rubber-stamped by the Boundaries Commission, not given a genuinely independent review. What does a review mean? Well, many councils say that the Boundaries Commission had to do more than just a ticker-box review of the reports, a ticker-box reading of the reports, and simply say whether or not the delegate had actually mentioned the relevant provisions of the Local Government Act, because that's all the Boundaries Commission did. They never did a proper review. And the councils also say that before the Boundaries Commission did a job on them and just signed off on the delegates' reports, that at common law and as a general principle of administrative law, that the councils had a right to procedural fairness before the Boundaries Commission made a decision that had such potentially large impact on them as ticking off on the review and handing it to the minister with a big green tick. Across the state, Mr Deputy President, the messages have been the same. Chaos and disarray have dominated Mike Baird's forced amalgamation agenda, with local democracy being trapped smashed in a deeply flawed process. We will be watching the outcome of these court cases closely and calling for the Baird government and all MPs in this House to respect any decision that the courts hand down on these appalling forced amalgamations.
The Honourable Natasha McLaren-Jones.